Imagine, if you will, a world in which nothing is what you're used to. A world where we take a harmless, ordinary, lovable NES game and we change around everything. This is the world of Final Fantasy I Randomizer. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Randomizer Mania for another matchup of the Final Fantasy Randomizer League. I am Trenton and joined by...
I'm Nitz. It's a pleasure. Thank you for the introduction, Trenton. We're pleased to bring you this Stage 3 race today. We're most of the way through the Stage 3 of the inaugural Final Fantasy Randomizer League. Each stage brings with it unique challenges, unique flags, unique setups, and asks something different of our runners. Tonight's challenge in particular is called the Pretty Black Belt, and the goal is to have a black belt in your party equipped with one of each of the 4 bracelets in the game: the copper bracelet, the silver bracelet, the gold bracelet, the opal bracelet. Not actually equipped, just on the black belt himself. You go into the armor menu to show them off, and you've won. The challenge, of course, is the opal bracelet. There's only one in the game, so it largely boils down to a race for that item. So let's see what we have in the first city of Corneria.
Highlight item might be Quad X in the Black Magic Shop. That is a spell that can get a lot done for you, especially if you happen to bring in some form or fashion 2 people who can equip Black Magic, which is the case for Will Bloodworth, in fact. He brought the Red Mage and the Black Mage, so he's going to have double casts of Quad X, which could make a lot of easy stuff a bit easier.
I believe I also saw the copper and silver bracelets in the Corneria armor shop, so that's 2 basically taken care of now. It's just going to come down to the gold bracelet, which is also going to be available in some shop somewhere if need be, and of course the opal bracelet, which is going to be in one of the random treasure chests throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, I'd be a little surprised if somebody had enough money to buy a silver bracelet right away, but perhaps after you visit chests in Temple of Fiends or Matoya's, the funds will be there.
Yeah, it was around somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000, so you're not going to have the starting cash for it, but bearing in the back of your mind where it is will save you a lot of trouble later, because Corneria is often on the route, no matter where you're headed.
So I came up with the analogy earlier today. If you wanted to just test somebody's running ability, you could have them run a marathon. But this league is more of an obstacle course, so the better you are at running, sure, that'll still go well for you, but obstacles are obstacles, and different ones will throw you different ways.
Yeah, it's less of a marathon, and it's more of a tough mudder, that is for darn sure.
Let's see, I believe we just saw the wizard staff? If so, that would be a little unusual to pass on that. It was some staff, I believe, at the top of Temple of Fiends. Sforzando, give me a look at it. Yeah, it is the wizard staff. TNT has been located by Will Bloodworth, so he'll be able to skip. I'll form a sentence here eventually. We know we'll eventually be able to skip the Marsh Cave, at least for now.
Yeah, the TNT is first early important plot item that allows you to blow the canal to gain access to the rest of the game from the Inner Sea. Finding it this early means we might not have to go to the Marsh Cave at all.
So Sforzando brought the double red mages, which also gives him 2 casts of Quad X, and he opts to use that on Garland. I absolutely love that strat, because Garland is good experience, good gold, and a quick warp back to Corneria. So he's going out of here with the wizard staff, whereas Ice Blue reset. And if those pirates are unfortunately hard, then Sforzando has that edge.
And one thing we should mention with XXXX, not only is it lucky that it's in Corneria, but it's also doubly lucky that it was at level 1. In this flag set, not only are the spells randomized, but the shops that sell them are. So you could have any spell at any level in any shop. So it's really quite fortunate that that spell rolled level 1.
Indeed. It is worth noting, though, it will still follow the Final Fantasy I convention. There are 4 spells per level. So 4 black magic spells, 4 white magic spells. It will still follow that convention. The spells have just been shuffled per level and per shop location.
Kaiten finds the wizard staff, and 7 GP. We'll see if he sticks around for it. Looks like he's going to.
I think the decision to kill Garland will depend a lot on your party. But Will definitely did not. because he just got level 2, and you would have gotten level 2 from the Garland fight, so I like that for Sforzando. For everybody else, you're kind of... Wow, those bones had something because Chitin is down to just one party member.
Yeah, the stat shuffling in this seed is between 25 and 400%. So you could end up with a really powerful Garland that might be able to resist that XXXX, and I think that's what why a lot of people may have opted out of fighting him. But in this case, it looks like it worked just fine.
Level 5 Warp is for sale here in Provoca. Now, not enough money now, but that's one you want to track. That's one you're going to want to come back for, and Will wisely decided to check to see if it was learnable or if it was class change blocked, because you cannot class change, so that is very important information.
If you're wondering why you can't class change, there's no real technical reason, except that the objective is specifically that the bracelets have to be on a black belt. And if you class change one, you class change all, and you eliminate your ability to actually meet the victory criteria. So it's something specific to this stage of the league.
Yeah, and part of the objective of the randomizer flags is just to give a variety of challenges that our runners have to react to. So that is part of the challenge, is just to do it without class changing.
Yeah, it's a pretty low-level challenge because often you don't have to defeat any of the fiends at all to win. So it allows for a very low-level, very shoestring sort of party where classes like the Thief can really shine because, honestly, they're just the best at running away, and that's something you may see a lot of tonight.
Well, Will is getting through these pirates. They do hit hard, but Quad X, he's been able to take out 2 around so far. And if he gets it down to just this one, I don't think he's going to be in much trouble. So now he's out of Quad X. He's got to do it the hard way, but he's got a weapon on that red mage, so he's fine.
Yeah, the pirates are a very weak enemy. The vanilla pirate has less than 10 HP, so even 400% of that is really nothing to fear. As long as they didn't get any nasty spells, they shouldn't be too much of a challenge for anybody.
Doesn't always just take a spell, though. If they have something like Stun Touch, when you've got to sit through 9 of those, they can find different ways to mess up your day.
Yes, that's an excellent point. Not only are the spells shuffled in this stage, but also the enemy scripts and the enemy status attacks. So virtually any enemy could have any power that exists in the game.
And just anytime you're facing 9 of them, it can be challenging. Also, when you have to go Quad X as your spell du jour, it's going to take a while to clear these out. But a couple of our runners came in here with higher levels as well. A lot of people have been trying to do this at level 1, and I think Ice Blue did do it at level 1.
Sforzando,
I think Sforzando is level 3 and Will was level 2 before going in there.
Yes, Sforzando uncorks the wizard staff, which casts Confuse, and that can also make things easier. It has an area of effect to it, so the pirates may end up killing each other and saving him some time.
Yeah, also if they have one of those nasty effects, then they're not using it on your party, so there's a lot of benefit to the Confuse spell being used in this fight. In this case, it worked out well for Ice Blue that the pirates weren't any harder than that, but we've certainly seen fights in this stage where that wizard staff could have been a lifesaver. We do have the bottle for sale, which is worth noting. We may have to come back for it. Tents really expensive. In fact, the cabins are cheaper than the tents in this seed.
And speaking of coming back for things, Ice Blue had just popped back into Corneria to pick up some silver bracelets for his crew and also a copper bracelet now, so he doesn't have to worry about finding either of those things in the future.
He'll be happy for that. Will Bloodworth is working on the Peninsula of Power to see if he can get some levels and some magic. This is a pretty good situation to do that in with the Marsh Cave skip because you need some basic levels before you try and go to a harder dungeon. Now Chitin will pick up the TNT. Will also likes to get himself in a position where he's going to have some spell charges if he finds something. We're about to see 3 out of the 8 levels of magic in pretty quick fashion here. Or 3 of the 8 shops, that is. Because you go to Elfland, you've got 2 of them. We've already seen 2 levels. And then we're going to go to Melmond and see another shop. So that's 5 shops that come in pretty quick succession, 6 if you throw Crescent Lake in.
Yeah, you touched on the Peninsula Power grind. If that's something you're like, what is he doing? Those top 4 squares there on that peninsula are the so-called Peninsula Power, and they sort of have an overlapping encounter table with the landmass to the north, so you can fight much harder enemies than you normally would be able to at the beginning. It's a popular level-up spot early in the game if you have something that can help you defeat those enemies.
We just saw an almost stereo that the Mad Ponies have damage poison, so that's an encounter. Early levels, that's going to be plenty to wipe out your party if you're taking that to the face. Some variety in the party selections is always nice. We've got Ice Blue going with the fighter to absorb damage. We've got Sforzando bringing the double red mages. Will Bloodworth brought the red and black mage. Chitin brought the red mage, white mage, so different party makeups for everybody. And the thief was just automatic because everybody wants the increased running chance.
Sforzando makes it to dwarves. There's some $800 and a small consumable, so nothing too exciting for him there. But of course, he does have the TNT to give to Narek.
Sforzando is probably the player who puts in the most practice time for each of these stages, so here he is. You can't really call anything elite until you know where the opal bracelet is, which no telling how long that'll take us. But he's the first runner that we've seen get the canal.
Yeah, and we've had some just nasty seeds earlier in this stage in the Marsh Cave that sort of scares some people away from even considering it. The Marsh Cave doesn't have the greatest danger to chest ratio, so we wouldn't be surprised to see people pass right over it now. But having said that, Ice Blue looks like he's setting up just outside to venture in.
Well, you just described exactly the reason why somebody might want to do it. If you think nobody else is going to, and you find that one item, then you're in hero mode. If you make a common play, that's where you can get in trouble. Because then you have to execute it at the highest level if you're going to have a chance. So, whatever strategy you do, and I beat this horse to death. I shouldn't say that, PETA will get mad at me. I beat this point to death. And the English people might get mad at me, but whatever. I say this a lot. Make sure whatever strategy you take, you're giving yourself a chance to win. Minochi's working on the Peninsula Power off-stream. A couple other runners have gotten through the pirates or about to. But it looks like, for now, Ice Blue and Sforzando are the furthest along of our runners to do anything.
Not a terrible haul so far. 20 grand and the Rune Sword. Not quite what he's looking for, but not trash.
Rune Sword, a decent weapon for that thief. You're not normally thinking about equipping him with a weapon, but in a pinch.
Yeah, the poor thief has such a poor arsenal to choose from, misses out on all the best swords, and we won't be able to promote him either. But the Rune Sword, Dragon Sword, Coral Sword, I think, are some of the best ones you can get. They're all just a little bit worse than the Silver Sword, so good find.
So Chitin is now working on the pirate fight, and he reset out of it? Did he just take too much damage? They were hitting a little bit, so I guess maybe if you didn't have the armor that we saw from other things. Question in chat, what's a decent quad-Xable enemy to grab a level or 2? Well, depending on the early game, the ogres right outside of Provoca can treat you quite nicely. If you want to go up to Peninsula Power, giants or trolls are going to generally be vulnerable to quad X. Giants are okay for experience. You're not going to celebrate it, but At level 1 or 3, that range, they'll still be a welcome sight.
It's a vanilla level 8 spell, and it has a very curious effect that it automatically KOs anything that has a current HP of less than 300, unless they're resistant to death elementals. So it can be used to kill all sorts of things. Anything whose natural HP is less than 300, but even bosses and fiends if you've managed to damage them below that level. So it's a popular spell.
Which is what we saw Sforzando do with Garland. He knew he had double quad X's, so the only way he was going to lose is if you saw something like Gargoyles with Blaze. I mean, Garland with Blaze, but Ice Blue saw Gargoyles that had it. So he just took his first wipe in the Marsh Cave and will have to go back in.
Yeah, the Marsh Cave is infamous. It just has so many ambush scenarios that people just don't want to set foot in there unless they have to. The old adage that you just don't go to Marsh Cave. Make it your last destination. And you will, be following the same route as a lot of successful people if you do that. On the other hand, you can do what Ice Blue does and take a shot.
Yeah, and as more runners get out into the world, we will see shots taken. I am absolutely positive we'll see runners go to Ordeal first. We'll see runners go to Volcano first. I don't think we'll really know what Sforzando is going to do other than he's grabbing some experience outside Crescent Lake, because he picked up Zap, which is an AoE death spell, so it'll get rid of some stuff. Won't get you through a boss fight, but it'll get you through a bunch.
Yeah, I think the route divergences are actually the most interesting part of this this stage, because it's one of the few that has completely, independent victory condition of a certain point in the game. You can just find that opal bracelet and win. And since nobody knows where it is, route divergences don't have to converge. You can, we could have all 4 people on stream with a chance to win, even though they're in completely different places at the same time. And from the viewing perspective, that makes for a very exciting race.
So right now, I caught a glimpse of Maya being in the Earth Cave. Edge Figaro is outside Crescent Lake, so he's another runner there. And apparently Ice Blue has left Marsh and found it unpalatable. Do have the gold bracelet here, so as long as everybody has enough money for that, we're officially just in searching for the opal mode. Which is not always the case. We've seen it a couple times now, where runners get the opal first and need the gold. Nuke at level 5. That is useful. I'm not sure yet what I think about Ice Blue's strategy, because on one hand, you don't want to keep dying. That costs you a lot of time if you're constantly dying. But to have your first play not work is really unfortunate, to not get anything out of Marsh when you made that play, and then I feel like I really would have to take a gamble if I were in that position. So my next move would probably be go to the ice cave and hope. Or wish very, very hard.
Did we solicit chat for guesses on the location of the opal bracelet? I said before I was calling something soft and easy, like the Sardia Isles. Once you get the airship, fly over there, pick up your opal. GG. That's my prediction.
We've seen it in ice. We've seen it in volcano. How about beneath the plate in Earth Cave? You have to get the rod.
I'll allow it. That's probably a place that will get checked pretty late, too.
Yeah, a lot of runners are going to go for, if you will, chest density. A dungeon that has the most available chests. I actually contend your optimal strategy is to work on time ratio. How many chests can you check within a given time? So my ideal strategy will vary based on spells that are available.
Yeah, we got some good guesses in chat. Sunken Shrine has a very good chance of being the location where the opal bracelet is. Pretty much vanilla, if you will, especially if it's, in mermaids. It's got about a 13 or 14% chance, I believe. I think Mirage Tower plus Sky Castle combine for the largest at 14%. TOFRs gets thrown around a lot. Hopefully, fingers crossed for these runners and and their time, it's not buried down there. That's about a 2.5% chance of it being in TOFR.
Okay, here is something that might be worthy of note. One other player decided to go to the Marsh Cave. That is Miat. However, Miat, I believe, did a little grind on Peninsula of Power that Ice Blue did not, so he should be a higher level and more durable for this Marsh Cave. And I said I might go to Ice Cave next if I were Ice Blue. I actually do like the Earth Cave play, especially if you're going to go to the later floors.
And Sforzando's off to Ordeals, which is often incentivized in traditional races, so that the chest at the end, which would normally give you the tail, will give you one of a set of important plot or powerful items. But that flag has been turned off for this stage, so the whole Ordeals could have anything in it. And this has come up earlier in the stage. We saw that the final chest here actually had a gold bracelet, which turned out to give Tristal a second place finish. So we'll see what Sforzando finds.
So Sforzando is the only one that I see in Ordeal right now. Which, that's what you want. Whatever you do, you want to be the first one doing it. And he had picked up a few levels, which gives him a few spell charges, which is really nice for this Ordeal, because it's actually not that large. Whoa! Oh my, what do we have? We have a finisher. Fuchsia Fantasy has found the opal bracelet.
Oh, GGK, thanks, bye. Where was it?
I do not know where he was.
Well, let's get him in here to walk us through
wow.
this.
We are have been floored. We've always known this was possible, but
there's not too many places you can get to this fast, right? It's got to be near the top of the volcano, or in marsh, or near the top of Earth.
We're early Ice Cave, but
yeah, could be.
Chat's saying they saw volcano. I believe it.
Yeah, that's...
In which case, Will is about to finish pretty quickly. Fuchsia will join us. Gonna take a little bit. But wow, that is the power of choosing right, and we have never seen it be that dramatic. I'm not sure what Will will think after he gets to this. Yeah, also, we don't know which chest it is. Did Fuchsia go to the party room, which is the big room? Or did he go to the first chest that's guarded by the fires? Well, not guarded by the fires if you walk it correctly. There's only one that would be guarded.
Jay Callan asks in the chat, how does that finish change how the other runners are going to continue their routing? And they're going to do what I just said. They're going to say, well, it's got to be someplace pretty easy to get to, right? So I'm not going to go off on a limb and do anything crazy. I know that I'm just going to skirt the easy dungeons, and maybe I'll close out the one I'm on, but then I'm going to head to a place like Volcano that I know I can check quick, because that's probably where it was found. If I just do Volcano, maybe Earth.
That tells you it's not key locked. It's not, oh, Will, which way are you going? All right. They know floater's not required. Yeah, probably not required. But you know it's not in the Sky Tower, you know it's not in C, and even probably the depths of the Earth Cave are out, so... Sforzando is continuing Ordeals, because for all he knows, somebody got through this faster than he did.
And this is an appropriate time to shout out to Jay Callan too, who is in fact our restreamer this evening on Randomania. So helping out behind the scenes, putting up the feeds for everyone to watch. Really appreciate that, Jay Callan. And we'd also like to shout out to Melee Wizard, who is our tracker tonight. It's the first time I've worked with either of them on the Final Fantasy Randomizer broadcast, and it's a pleasure to do so. So thanks a lot for helping out. We really appreciate it.
Indeed. We got Melee in here. His first time working with us, and we're appreciative. Will just found the opal.
There it is, in the treasure trove. And he
2426.
Done.
Unfortunately, he took that reset against some red gargoyles, I think it was, and that made a world of difference. So we're going to see Fast and Furious finishers as people pick the right location. Will did it. Quicklit did it in third. And looks like Sforzando has said, well, it's obviously not an ordeals. Or, yeah, he found that was the wrong location, so he's out. Ice Blue's out. If I didn't mention this, Quicklit finished. I want to try and give everybody credit where I can. Minochi is done in Earth Cave. Edge Figaro is in the canoes, so looks to be on his way. Maya's on his way to Volcano.
Yeah, this is the kind of lightning
Maya
fast,
forfeited.
real fast seed that you're going to see a lot of forfeiting, because it doesn't take long when the initial time is so good for the chaos points to rack right up. And either you're planning on you're going to do better in a subsequent race. We have just a few more in this stage, or you're already doing worse than your best time. So why bother? But yeah, you'll probably see a lot of dropouts in the coming minutes.
Of course, if you're worried about your SRL points, then this is a chance to rack those up, but they don't really matter for anything.
They don't really matter for our league, but there's something. I respect that.
Bragging rights. They're not unreflective of skills. It's generally going to be better runners towards the top. So Minochi's in the wrong area. Looks like he's heading to Marsh.
Yeah, that's
likewise. Maya was actually the one who was on the right track, but he opted out of it. He might actually have been short of the silver bracelet as well, I'm guessing. Edge Figaro has just finished with a time of 27:02. And JK giving us some new runners on here, so we've got Mr. Roo himself. Miat is in the bottom left. We've got Ali on the top left. Did that for you once, Miat. You're going to have to do the rest yourself.
It's good to see Miat racing in the league. He was strong, placed pretty well in the inaugural tournament towards the end of last year, but then signed up for the league. Been a bit of a no-show up to now, but we're happy to have you back.
Interesting. It looks like the Earth Cave is actually a really popular choice from everyone right now. That wouldn't have been my conclusion from the time, but apparently that's what people think. Mia now looks to be going back to Provoca, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get to guess wrong. Like, there's a lot of places where you can get to that quickly and that easily, right? Top of the volcano, maybe the first chest in ice, but it's hard to say. The top of the marsh cave, the top of the earth cave. And it's hard to know just how far you would have to go down before you're like, nah, this probably isn't it. So you can get sort of caught up checking the wrong place because you think that's where it was. But
yeah, this is probably one of the hardest times to guess what somebody did if you're just looking at the SRL. I mean, like I said, we could rule 3 or 4 things out pretty easily, but after that, it starts getting a lot harder. And Maya has told us in chat, part of his issue was not having enough money for the gold bracelet. He was 400 short. And he was in pretty good position, at least top 5 position at the time. Well, I mean, we haven't had 5th place yet, so...
Yeah, to your point, Trenton, like you said, don't do the obvious thing unless you think you can execute better than everybody else, right? Because you're always going to be competing with the biggest pack if you do the textbook move. And the trick is, how do you know if you're at the front of the pack, right? You're like, well, everyone's going to go to Volcano, so I have to zig when everybody else is zagging to give myself the best shot at winning. Well, if that's where the thing is, you got to go there one way or another, right? So.
Well, you know, and sometimes you can psych yourself out if you're thinking too much about, well, everybody's going to do this, so I'll do that.
Absolutely.
And looks like Salty is going to withdraw at this point. So we have our runners on stream, then we still have First C and Minochi who are running off stream right now. Minochi is... I can't even see right now. And First C is also in the Earth Cave.
So as we approach the 31-minute mark, we're a minute away from half a chaos point. The finishing time was 21 and change. So, 32 and change, and you're already at half a chaos point. Another 12 minutes, and it's basically over. So you start to... It's only human nature to be like, is this still worth it? So we'll see who chooses to brave it and finish it off.
But it's still one of the things you want to consider is if you're always forfeiting because you don't feel like it's worth it, then you can kind of sneaky hurt yourself in the league standings by not putting up a decent time. And I would consider a decent time to be around 0.3 or lower. But if you're still sitting at a 1, even a 0.5 matters. So you've got to, at some point, give yourself a baseline score and then work to improve it.
Yeah, I think that's what me.
Bad RNG.
No, that's just painful.
Oh.
Hi, everyone who is patiently waiting in the commentary room I wasn't looking at.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, party on. Congratulations, Fuchsia. Let's have you go first. So, treasure trove in the volcano.
Yep, it was a pretty standard, pretty linear seed if you went to Volcano first, which most people would do.
You say this.
Uh-huh.
But yet, we see a lot of people don't do that. So,
No,
congratulations on making the right choice.
I don't normally.
Even in Will's case, he was the closest to you. I think he went to Volcano second after, was it an early Earth dive?
Nope, didn't even do that. I actually went around. So I got the chest, the free chests in the center area. Then I cashed in TNT, went to Melmond, then circled around the outside to Elfland. And because I didn't have any AoE spells or warp or exit, I didn't bother with early Earth. So I figured after I go to Elfland, I'll just go to Crescent Lake, check their magic shops, and then from there go to Volcano in the neighborhood. So it's just fortunate that there weren't any AoE spells. Otherwise, I would have gone Earth first or Marsh first.
I don't like the Earth first play. Volcano just has a greater density of chests.
It does. Earth is not bad.
in pretty quick order, we've got finishes from Miat in 5th, time of 33:04, and Minochi right behind him, 33:45.
Hello.
Miat, you know what you need to do.
Hello.
There we go. Welcome back, Miat. We missed you.
Thanks. I've gotten a little bit of breathing room to start doing some races.
Good.
Well, we appreciate it.
It's nice to meet you. I think I got involved in this community after you had made your quick disappearance. So I was talking about you like an old friend, but it's a pleasure to actually talk to you for the first time. So congratulations on your finish and welcome back to the league.
Thank you, Fuchsia Fantasy. Good, congrats on the win. And it's good to see a lot of new people joining this randomizer. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly, let's give you a chance to get a word in edgewise. GG to you as well.
Thanks. Apparently, full clearing Marsh was not the play.
You were able to full clear it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't go after the wizard chest, but I cleared everything else. I didn't have. I was stupid and spent money on spells I wasn't going to be able to cast for a really long time. So I didn't have quite enough money to buy a gold bracelet in Elfland, so I decided to go to Marsh. And there was plenty of money in the top of Marsh, so I decided to check the bottom too, but there wasn't anything down there, so I reset out. And then I was just about to Crescent Lake when I saw the dot done and just made a beeline to Volcano, because I figured that was where I was going to be.
Yeah, we had a question in the chat that I didn't have the best answer for. So the dot done comes in around 21. Was Volcano immediately first in your mind, or what would you say the order of likelihood was?
Oh, yeah.
It was either Earth or Volcano, and I was far away from Earth already, so I just figured Volcano was my best shot of getting a pretty quick time.
And I was outside of Crescent Lake when he got done, so I was like, yup, that's where I was going. So I just hauled butt over there, and sure enough, had I not gone right side first, it would have been an even quicker finish.
Ali finishes in 7th, 36:11, and I saw you had to do a reset, Will, either wipe from Ugly Encounter or some skill or something, and then you had to go back into Volcano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to just rush my way to the armory after doing all the right side stuff, minus the fire chests, because I figured he's not going to get a finish that quickly with having to fight a fire. And
I actually did fight a fire.
Did you?
But I lost.
Yeah, I made it about 2 steps away from the first chest in the armory when I wiped to Argoyles. So I reset immediately, dove back down in, and I think it was like the second or third chest I checked in the armory was the opal bracelet. I'm like, yep, that's what I thought.
I was fighting the wizards when Fuchsia got done, and I thought, okay, the chest has got to be in this wizard's chest in the Marsh Cave or the volcano, because nobody goes to Earth Cave without, the floater or at least the roof.
Artea does.
I do.
You've been gone a while.
Well,
we have a lot of people that go to Earth Cave now.
I guess
Earth First is not really a good play. I mean, you don't really have AoE. You don't have a good way to deal with the wizards, so you don't have a good way to deal with Earth Elementals, so you got 8 chests that are open to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's way more in Armory.
That was really it. No warp, no exit, no good reliable AoE spell. Quad X is not killing in Earth. And, it just didn't make sense without all the things I normally have. Like, at least one of the things I usually have when I hit Earth.
So Ali joins us now. GG on the 7th place finish.
GG.
GG.
So what'd you think of that one?
Plus, I saw the done. I was wondering because I wasn't even starting a dungeon, so I'm guessing it was early either in volcano or Earth Cave. So I was in Earth Cave and I did maybe think up to. I said, okay, it's probably not there. Once I died, I said, okay, well, let's go to volcano because it must be there. Because often the same information as the other people, and I'm trying to see even if they do it really faster, what I've seen, and that's pretty much what I had to do.
Well, we see First C has decided to withdraw, so apparently this fight against the Earth doesn't go well. There were actually a lot of nasty skills we saw out on the world. There was Blaze, there was Blizzard, there was Creme, there was stuff all over the place.
I never saw any of that.
Me neither.
I think the worst thing I saw was...
Y'all had your Trislex seed.
Yeah, the worst thing I saw was in Marsh. Some of the stuff had stun touch, and I was taking a beating, but...
Yeah, I assure you, if you ask some of our other runners, there was plenty of ugly stuff out there, especially depending on where you went.
Iguanas had cremate. I didn't see that.
Mm-mm. I used Quad X on 1 just to get my first level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did the same.
Same here.
I thought a couple of you saw the Mad Ponies.
We did. They had poison. That was fun.
I didn't see Mad Ponies. Luckily,
I got Mad Pony poison twice.
I power cycled, kind of just before the desert in that stretch from Matoya's Cave to Provoca. Mm-hmm. I power cycled, and there was no Mad Ponies. There was like a couple of iguanas, but I got the first Quad X off. Mm-hmm. So I must have avoided the Mad Ponies. Or if I did, I ran from them.
I think it was like 3 or 4 Group 3 fights in a row at the very beginning of the cycle, because I went to POP very briefly to see if I could insta-kill some giants or, if I got a troll. I obviously I couldn't kill zombies. I tried. But, yeah, I was just trying to see if I could find some giants.
What did you try and kill zombies with?
Quad X like an idiot.
That doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
I have a pretty good memory of the encounter table around that stretch from Provoca, from Canaria to Provoca. Mm-hmm. So I know what Group 3 is, what Group 1 is. Group 1 is iguanas. Group 3 is the wolf group.
Yep. And
Group 2 is the creep.
Yep.
All right, sorry to interrupt, guys, but I gotta get going. So thanks for the race, and I will see you guys next time.
We appreciate it, Miat. Have a great night, and hopefully see you again soon.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so only remaining runner in the race is Chitin, who is still in Earth Cave, trying to push down, I guess. Hasn't decided to bail out on this just yet, despite running into some pretty nasty Earth encounters, wiping a couple times.
Yeah, it's always kind of interesting to try and figure out what somebody else is figuring out from the same piece of information that you had. It's just that when you see these ugly encounters, it tells you people probably didn't spend too much time here.
Yeah, my hunch now is if you look at the shot clock, you've only got about a minute and a half left before you're at a 1.0 anyway. So I don't think Chitin figures traveling anywhere is going to get there any faster. So just kind of double down, hope it's in here, and otherwise just take your 1.
Was this the quickest seed yet?
I think so.
Yep.
I know Minochi had a 31, 32 minute seed from a sea shrine opal.
It was 28 minutes in Mermaids. Opal was in Mermaids.
Yeah, that's it. That's
sick.
That made me sick. I was like, there's no freaking way any mortal could have done this. Not only guess it right, but get there and survive it. That was insane.
Yeah, that's super misleading. If you pull off something like that, you're going to totally screw over everyone else. It's playing the metagame of how much time it took.
Oh, it did screw everyone else over. I might have, if I'm not mistaken, I might have been the only person who there might have been a very few people who actually didn't 1.0 that race.
So here's the vampire.
What was that?
Quiet doesn't work against vampire. What are you doing?
No, it does not. But he has no more charges anyway. Maybe the silver will work.
Undead does not work.
Gonna have a rough time.
It's our first time seeing the vampire, I think, this stage. Well,
no.
Everybody say hi to the vampire.
In this seed, yeah.
He's going to stay for a long time.
Man, I fought that damn thing a ton of times.
We've ticked past the 1.0 mark now, so if Chitin continues, it's more planned for Pride at this point.
Pride and SRL points.
Well, and you probably haven't sat and calculated out what it'll cost, but let's kind of talk about the meta of that, because I was making the point that even if you're not really close finishing where you think it's a good time for the stage, there's still a value in putting up a time and getting some improvement.
I guess it really depends on how you value your time and what you're really playing for. If you're playing to improve your chaos points, yeah, it's a no-brainer forfeit if you're past the point where you can improve. But if you're playing for SRL points or pride or improving your own PB, sure. Everybody's playing.
I mean, in the sense of particularly, like, if you're in the 0.5 range, but still your official score for the round is a 1, you're better off taking the 0.5 and improving.
Yeah, I don't know how many people forfeited that had a 0.1 already, but they also might have figured, I don't know if I can find this in 21, 22 minutes. Like, you'd have to mad dash to wherever you think it's possible. That'd be a volcano, earth, marsh, or on a very, very big long shot ice cave. There's not a lot of options. It probably wasn't ordeals.
So Rosando did attempt to go to ordeal. It just obviously didn't work.
Yeah, you got to commit there because that's a long, long, long ship ride.
Yeah, he cleared it out too. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That would explain the forfeit. Yeah, if I didn't get the opal in Volcano, I probably would have gone right to Earth Cave. And if I had not gotten in the first 2 floors there, I would have not forfeited myself.
Oh yeah, Glare Sahags.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, those were bad.
Jeez. I don't know why anybody's taking fights on the sea if you don't have to. Save.
Early on, if you needed money.
Well, I got the Kazaku fights for a little extra golden XP.
Yep, that'd be the first fight on the ocean. Just like vanilla.
Yeah, I think it's like the first free fights actually.
It would have been, yeah. Yeah, because Zokas are group 3.
Out of curiosity, how many of you had the wizard staff when you went to the pirates?
I sold it right as soon as I got back to Canaria, and I was like, oh crap, I sold the wizard staff. That's not a good play.
I sold... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
But then I found the silver bracelets, and I got melee weapons, so I'm not too worried about pirates unless they roll something nasty.
The only thing I use wizard staff on traditionally would be carry, and since there's really no purpose in fighting fiends in this, just a waste of time.
Well, wizard staff can bail you out against pirates if they have some sort of skill, like frost or thunder, or.
I'd already fought them. I actually cleared out Temple of Fiends on the way back from Provoca with the ship. So I went Matoya's first, and then I went right to Provoca.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty common strategy, but I like to do Temple of Fiends first. I just rush to it, and like I said last time, it's a bad strat, and if you do it, you're bad. Just rush to Temple of Fiends, but...
It's not bad.
Well, it's interesting with the Quad X because that's almost always going to kill Garland, so especially for our runners...
Well, I didn't kill Garland, I just ran out.
I definitely killed him. I have Quad X. He's gonna die. It's faster than walking.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't want to have
especially
to.
For our
Garland might roll high HP and Quad X will not work. That could happen. So
reset. That's it, man. Save outside Temple of Fiends.
I didn't have a tent. I didn't go to the item shop. I just rushed TOF.
Yeah. When you said rush, he meant rush.
You literally did just that. Like, you didn't buy anything. You just went to Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, I just stopped in the inn and then...
Damn. Hashtag balls.
We started with like 500 gold and you didn't even check the chest or check the shop.
I absolutely would have done that. Yeah, I think I bought two cabins. So I saved at the crossroads after the bridge. and then I saved when I came out of Matoya's cave because there was a cabin in there, and then I saved about halfway to Provoca after getting the crap kicked out of me by numerous enemies. That was another reason I didn't go early Earth. There was no long run. Like, the longest run was maybe a 6-7 second run in that entire cycle of 10 encounters. So I was like, this isn't going to be easy. So what the hell with it?
All right, gentlemen, what we're going to do is get some final thoughts, and then we'll toss over a host to Chitin and show some love as he works to finish out this seed. So, Will, let's start with you and work our way up the list.
Well, I'm probably going to jump in this 1 a.m. race just so I can try one more time for the 000 since Fuchsia has denied me. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. So I'm surprised that something went moderately well for me for a change. Out of 11 races, this is the first time. But, 3 races left.
And I may have to jump in the 2 a.m. race also to prevent Will from doing it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it if you did that. It'd be great.
And Fuchsia, you get the last word.
I think I've spoken enough. I'm going to join the 2 a.m. race. Gotta be the fun police.
If I clear it, I tie you in chaos points.
Yeah, because you got the win.
Quickly, you'd still be ahead of me, no matter what.
All right, so I'll say thank you to Randomania 2 for hosting us tonight, J.K. Allen for being our restreamer, Melee Wizard for joining us for the first time tonight and doing the tracking. Well, much appreciated. And Nitz, I'll let you sign us off.
As usual, I want to thank Randomania 2 for hosting us, our tracker, Melee Wizard, nice meeting for the first time, a restreamer. And of course, we've got a repeat champion tonight. Our upcoming race is at 2 a.m. Eastern Time, so that's almost a little over 4 hours from now. After that, we have a Thursday evening race, and then Saturday is the final Stage 3 race. So time's getting short for anyone looking to improve their score in Stage 3. We look forward to upcoming races. For everyone in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, thanks for joining us this evening. Have a great night.